I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Really pleased to be joined by Fred Kempe, President and CEO of the Atlantic Council. Geopolitical risks are at the height of the WEF agenda this year. What's on your mind?
The words one is hearing here more than anything else is fear and fragility. And we've been talking at the Atlantic Council about how the world is at an inflection point as important as 1919, 1945, and 1989. And if you look at those inflection points, it was U.S. leadership, but also U.S. leadership at allies and friends that shifted things in a bad way after 1919, or shifted things in a better way after 1945. So if you can feel the world changing here. You see the Chinese presence has gone up. You see the Chinese talking about a bigger global role. President Xi is really a strategist. You see the American presence relatively low.
Does that surprise you?
Well, I don't think you can read too much from attendance in a conference, but people felt in the 2000s that American engagement was a little bit excessive, and now I think there's a consensus that one would like a little bit of America, a little bit more America, maybe not the kind of America that was invading Iraq, but a different sort of American engagement. And if you don't have American leadership with friends and allies, what's going to fill the gap? We think it's either going to be less benevolent actors or incoherence and chaos.
Russia and Ukraine, what do you think is going to happen?
I've been coming here for years, and I remember 2009 when Vladimir Putin came here and was bragging about how well they'd come through the economic crisis. Vladimir Putin is not here this year, but Poroshenko is here. President Poroshenko is here, and he's been one of the stars of this show. And I think one is really seeing Ukraine as almost a testing moment for the transatlantic community. Can one give Ukraine enough economic support so that it can go in a sovereign path and a path of its own choosing? And the big story this year, of course, is their request to the IMF, and then Christine Lagarde's relative embrace of this request. So it's a very interesting moment. I think this is one of the moments that Davos will be remembered for.
And what do you think is going to happen this year there?
I think it's touch and go. I think if you're looking at geopolitical wild cards, which I think a lot about. One of them is, what does Vladimir Putin do, who's under the pressure of sanctions, under the pressure of lower oil prices, and under the pressure of capital flight? If he's got more economic pressure, does he become more aggressive or more compliant? I don't think he's in a situation where his mood is to be more compliant. So it's less a Ukraine story, it's more a Russia story. Can one support Ukraine economically so it's strong enough to survive? But what will Putin do in the face of that support?
All right, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion here in Davos, and I'm Edie Lush.